Back in 2006, there were hundreds of thousands of people on this ring road surrounding the capital. After 19 days of protest, they managed to topple the royal government. It was a time of great optimism. But 5 years and 4 prime ministers on, people have started to question the success of the movement.
Prabha is greatly disappointed.
So many people were sacrificed, so many people were wounded, and now all that the leaders want is political power. When I think back on it, my heart becomes so heavy.
After the People's Movement, the monarchy was abolished. This used to be the royal palace. Now it's the foreign ministry. These people are queuing for passports. Almost 1,000 people leave the country every day in search of a better future. Suresh Chowdhury has come to Kathmandu from the countryside to get his documents.
There is no possibility of getting employment in this country. We've got democracy, but so what?
Service is poor. Like so much else in Nepal, it can be a frustrating experience.
At the time of a movement, there's always this euphoria and a sense that you can do anything. But I think almost what's more important is who organizes the reality that comes after the movement. The political parties and the Maoists who have been in charge of restructuring Nepal have not done a very sincere job.
5 years on, the optimism has given way to disillusionment. After all the promises of those 19 days of revolutionary drama, the process of enacting real reform has proved much more difficult. Sabina Shrestha, AlJazeera, Kathmandu.
Okay, to the UK now, and London has hosted Europe's first regular season NBA game. The New Jersey Nets took on the Toronto Raptors in an event aimed at raising the profile of basketball in Britain ahead of the 2012 Olympics. Ashley House has this report.
The NBA says it's all about burning competition, blazing athleticism and sizzling excitement. And it's always been seen as quintessentially American. But the bosses know that in today's global marketplace, bigger markets mean new fans, and new fans mean more merchandising, ticket sales, revenue and profit.
The fans here demanded that we bring over a regular season game. There's enormous interest here for it, and it's also a bit of an experiment. I think David Stern has talked in the past about one day potentially having a division of NBA teams based in Europe.
But is he right? Is there really a European audience for basketball, or will the traditional spectator sports always squeeze it out?
It's too difficult with teams coming over all the time, back and forth.
We love the mascots, the cheerleaders.
And they sell pizza for free.
And you get free pizza if they score so many points, and it's just so much fun.
It's just the excitement. Every minute of it is just, there's always an alley-oop there or a sweet pass there. It's just something about it is always exciting.
I'm always watching like the NBA games online, like at 2 in the morning, and it's like if it was like better timed here, then obviously it just gets so much publicity and it's just awesome basically.
Never overtake football in England. No sport ever will, because football's the main sport.
Friday's game between the New Jersey Nets and the Toronto Raptors had all the razzmatazz you'd expect from the NBA, although a little dampened by the two sides' poor league positions.
When Toronto played New York in the first ever NBA game, I'm sure that none of the officials, players or spectators could have imagined that just 55 years later they'd be playing matches on the other side of the world. And yet here we are in London with back-to-back regular season NBA games. Now, the outcome of these matches may not be that significant when it comes to where the championship trophy goes at the end of 2011, but in terms of the global future of the sport of basketball, these may be the most significant games since that one back in 1946.
Negotiations to stop a possible lockout in American football's next NFL season have been extended by a week. Players and club owners are now in a dispute over how to split the estimated $9 billion the league earns every year. The parties had already agreed to a 24-hour extension before adding a further 7 days after mediation talks on Friday. The owners want to increase their current 40% share, but the players disagree. If no solutions found, the players will face the threat of a lockout. That's where the clubs prevent them from playing for the next season. US President Barack Obama has urged both parties to resolve the situation. Japan has launched the latest version of its famous bullet train. Hundreds of passengers were on board the Hayabusa or Falcon as it pulled out of the Tokyo station on Saturday. It now travels at up to 300 kilometers per hour. That will be raised gradually to 320 by the end of the year. This is Al Jazeera, and these are the stories making the headlines. Forces loyal to Muammar Gaddafi have attacked areas in and around the opposition-held city of AlJazeera, just west of the capital, Tripoli. Witnesses say at least 30 people were killed. The rebels say the area remains under their control, but the government says it's regained some areas. These pictures were taken before rebels fought to take the oil port of Ras Lanuf. It's halfway between Benghazi and Tripoli. And in the capital, tear gas and rubber bullets were used to break up an anti-Gaddafi protest after Friday prayers. But a rally by the president's supporters went on all afternoon. And in the eastern city of Benghazi, a dozen people were killed by an explosion at an arms dump. It's not clear what caused the blast. Several people have been injured after protesters fought with police in Egypt's second biggest city of Alexandria. This amateur video is set to show protesters ransacking the headquarters of the state security agency. They say police were trying to destroy documents linked to past abuses. China's Premier Wen Jiabao has pledged to reduce inflation and corruption and raises people's income levels. Wen told the National People's Congress in Beijing the measures are necessary to maintain social stability. The theme of happiness, along with a 5-year economic plan, dominated his address at the start of the year's parliamentary session. A German prosecutor says more people could have been killed at Wednesday's shooting incident at Frankfurt Airport. The gun belonging to the man suspected of shooting dead 2 U.S. Air Force members had jammed with 6 bullets still inside the magazine. 21-year-old Arid Uka had been charged with 2 counts of murder and 3 counts of attempted murder. The U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has condemned the killing of at least 6 female protesters in Côte d'Ivoire. They were taking part in a rally calling for President Laurent Gbagbo to step down and to accept November's election result. Spanish football club Real Madrid have stepped up security around manager Jose Mourinho after a man tried to stab him. Mourinho was attacked as he was signed autographs at an airport in northwestern Spain. The former Chelsea boss escaped unhurt, but his bodyguard suffered stab wounds. Those are the headlines. Stay with us for Across the Shouting Valley.
What Gaddafi has done, he dismantled or destroyed the system in the country.
As chaos and violence sweep across Libya.
They're living through fear, they're living through a nightmare.
They're using ammunition, live ammunition.
Al Jazeera hears from those who have lived in fear of Gaddafi's regime.
We don't want him to leave. We want to arrest him. 42 years is too much.
Libya, a state of terror. At this time on Al Jazeera. A history of guerrilla warfare. A place on the global stage. They were an organization created for a stateless population. But before fighting for their land, why did the PLO fight for independence?